sponsor, please shift to another sponsorship. You are on your own, and then you can live your life without any additional burdens. It's difficult, but that is what unfortunately goes.
Okay, so to challenge the validity, definitely he has to do it through a lawyer.
Yes, if you want to challenge the validity of the marriage of the divorce certificate, first of all, you have to have a copy of the divorce certificate.
We don't have.
Well, you have
leading in person the man making demands onto a certain amount of money answer. Yeah, that's where the challenge is.
Yeah. Oh, anyway, let's speak to a lawyer. Let me put it that way.
All right. Maybe we'd have to give you a call.
Yes. Speak to a lawyer.
All right, sure. Thank you so much. God bless.
You're welcome.
Let's see to you. Yanko Samson. Samson. Since they were more than a ban.
Baba. Lawyer, who nature. Evening. Nana, good evening.
Good
evening. Lawyer, me say me what 3.5 and as a 3-year route, so baby.
Yeah.
There be that
3 years.
Samson, you need 3-year route to be out Kruma. You're 5 years, you're 10 years. In the 3 years, go far.
Yeah. Sorry.
With the 6 months, I got 2.5 years.
10 years. 10 years now. 10 years. 10 years no. Me pese be so ansa na makwakoye. Na almost say chire me pese me ba 5 years so. Chire me ye bibi. Me hu lawyer na ye di hu nko. Na pese me buza lawyer always been say bibi ono betumi a chire na me mfe no in chambers so.
Bet me am answer straight away. So over 10 years ni so. Now once we switch to 5 years, so you have to do the full 10 years. But who started 10 years now? This is what I do to my clients. Say, omunyanya the first 2.5 years nipe. Makacho say, koyejuma for 7 months. Come back. Let's make another application. We will move you from the 10 years to the 5 years. It means in total you do 5 years and 7 months. You go for your indefinite leave. How do you do that? So your English language test level A2. So you are able to meet the financial or the maintenance requirement in terms of sikasamno, how much do you earn, how much is your rent. Then we do the income support level threshold calculation under the case of Uvovo. How much do you need to look after yourself? How much do you need to look after your child or your children? We do all of that, your tenancy agreement, pay slip, 6 months, bank statement, letter from your employer, child's birth certificate, or your wife's your marriage certificate, tenancy agreement or mortgage. If you meet all these requirements, RIFEA, R stands for relationship, I for immigration, F for finance, E for English, A for accommodation. If you meet these requirements, you can shift from the 10-year route to the 5-year route. And you start the 5 years from the beginning. You do 2.5 years and another 2.5 years, total of 5 years, you go for your indefinite. If you don't switch, you have to do 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, total of 10 years before you go for your indefinite leave to remain. In any case, if you have already done 5 years, then there is no need to go for the 5-year route because you still have to do 5 years anyway. So you just continue with the 10-year route. That is, if you've already done 2.5 and 2.5, then there is no reason why you should switch. Because even if you switch, you'll still do another 5 years. So you must as well just carry on with the... So it is possible. Relationship, immigration, financial, accommodation, and the English language requirement, you can switch to the 5-year route. It is possible.
Okay. Lawyer Mdase.
Yeah, that's
right. Lawyer, when you say, my wife was a student and gave birth in the UK, but now she has switched to graduate visa. Is it necessary for her to do dependent visa for the baby?
Well, if she has a child, is the child British or I don't know what he has. If the child is British, then as a student.
She came as a student, and ne graduate route no eso. But they say
Well, what is their intention? If they intend to find another sponsorship and stay in this country till they get their indefinite, then me mekase, me masemo, mekase. Ukoye application Emma Bofrana, Ubetra Home Office fee, Ubetra IHS fee, Abo friends one ko ye juma first kamba, enya dia odine tu kwan. Sikase ye kwa. That is my point of view. You will spend about £4,000, £3,000, £3,800. It will sit in the house or it will sit in the room for 2.5 years or for 2 years. No profit. So what did ever to Abba, then you can do it. If not, I would say just hang on. If ultimately Munyamo indefinite, you just register the child as a British citizen straight away. But Sepapano, a student, was graduate route niso. After 2 years, or switch another route niso. Abia skilled worker. Now another 5 years on an indefinite. My view be just wait. When you get your indefinite, you apply for your child as a British citizen. But the choice is for you to make.
Yemfa Jerry and so and Trasso. Jerry Bachoko CATO.
Oh, good evening.
Evening, my brother. How are you?
Oh, okay, I'm good. Okay, my wife is the main applicant, and then she came in, I think, April. Then I came with my 2 boys in August. So my wife's 5 years will be ending, I think, 15th April. In that case, can we, if let's say the 5 year, if we finish the 5 year, can we apply for the indefinite with her?
If you look at appendix skilled worker, I'm just trying to get it. If you look at appendix skilled worker dependent, root niswa, I say, you who is the dependent, you have to do a time of 5 years in the UK as a dependent of a skilled worker. Let me just see if I can quickly get the exact paragraphs for you. Appendix skilled worker. Let me say here, it says appendix skilled worker, quickly, dependent of a skilled worker, settlement as a dependent. And we are looking at the timeline.
Okay.
Settlement, it says qualifying period for requirement for settlements as a dependent partner of a skilled worker, SW 42.1. Skilled worker 42.1, that is appendix skilled worker, SW 42.1. The applicant must have spent a continuous period of 5 years in the UK with permission as a dependent partner of the person who is P under SW 39.1. On that basis, or in that case, SW 42.1 says you must spend 5 years here as a dependent spouse. It means that we on only first, the indefinite first. You go for an extension, but as soon as you hit the 5 years, you go back for your indefinite. You don't have to wait for that to finish before you go. Appendix skilled worker, you can type it in, read it, and you see for yourself. Appendix skilled worker, I like to give the law so that anybody can read it for themselves and see exactly where they stand. Appendix skilled worker, qualifying period requirement for settlements as a dependent, SW 42.1, that is where it says so.
Okay, so what about my boys? By then they would have been, one would be 21, the other one 23. Would they still be dependent?
Yes, they are still dependent. As long as they came in as dependents, even if they go past 18 and above, as long as they are dependents, they are still regarded as so. They will still be given in line with you. And then when the 5 years is up, you go for your indefinite.
And then, sorry, is it possible I can get a contact of anybody in the US, any lawyer that you know?
In the US, yes. Call me. I can give you a number. It's called Mr. Ado Yobo. He would take care of you. In the US, it's in New Jersey. If you need him, I can give you his details and you can contact him. Ado and that, yes. Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Lawyer, whilst we go see in patch of our contact details to chat room honomo and mammy says na yemfa in capon unmute you into Bacho for question, bra.
On a demand.
Of course. Oh, okay.
I'm saying Capon ready into the other man there yen here ever had him here. Yemfa Charles Mbacho for question, bra.
You made a show be our programmation. Now let me quick one maybe Sunday say. Meaning say after 5 years now, your employer will have to give you a letter for you to apply for your indefinite.
Yes.
Because I say, after getting that letter, are you supposed to stay with that employer for the full 1 year on your indefinite before you can leave them? And I say, once you get your indefinite, you can leave. Because I know, say, after the 5 years, no, you're no more on their sponsorship.
So okay, thank you. Thank you very much. You remind me of something that happened a few years ago. There was this lady who came to me and she was so upset, so upset. You know what happened? She was with this gentleman, and thankfully they are not Ghanaians. I think from this one of these Asian countries. She was with this gentleman. The man hanged on slowly. As soon as he got his indefinite leave, he packed his things and left the house. And the lady came to me. She was crying. He used me to get his thing. He wants to, he's gone away. He used me. Lawyer, I want to cancel. And I said, my sister, I'm sorry. I mean, as long as it was a genuine relationship and he hanged on, he bore all the pains and stresses until he got his indefinite, there's nothing you can do. So, putting it along this question, as soon as you get your indefinite, you are on your feet. You have indefinite leave to remain. With indefinite, you can carry on with your employer or you can move on because you have your indefinite leave to remain. And that is why sometimes people make it very difficult for others to get their indefinite because they know once they get their indefinite, they are independent. So you don't have to be bound to the same employer if you need to make the move. Yes.
Yo, may I say,
unless your employer will come and tell me he used me, and then but apart from that, nothing stops you from.
Ashite Enso, Ashite Pacho, go ahead.
Hello, good evening. Thank you, lawyer, for your wonderful education. Quickly.
Thank you.
Quickly, I think, sir, you may have answered earlier in a way, but I will still ask it. So my brother has been here for, I think, since 2020. Initially, only Ghanaian-born French being a war, and then they applied for EU pre-settlements, But when I think they used a clause say he didn't apply before May 25th, issue with 31st December 2020 something, So when however. He's moved on. I think he's met a new partner sometime 2022. Omar British. They're living together. Omar Tofie and everything. At the moment, he's on a 10-year route. But I think his colleagues keep telling him, so bet me as we check for the 5. So I wanted to ask, what were the requirements? Because he's working. I know he's working for a very good company here as well. But I don't know, company where he's working for is a multinational company. If it was enough to prove, his English proficiency and his stuff like that are high already, maybe our own trust our test. And I say he has to go through the same requirements, just like any other person. But at the moment, I'm more about with the new British child. So we're about with French person. That's how we're about with the British one who he currently lives with at the moment.
So, what qualification has the person got in the English?
I think he's on English test, but he's got a degree back in Ghana and Obaha.
Okay, so a degree, and there was a company called NARIC, NARIC, which is now called Actis. Yes, once a while that conversion and the NARIC or Actis have given the person those letters to support the degree and the transcript on English language behavior. That is what you have to use from start to your British citizenship. There's no requirement for it. I don't know if there's another part of the question I haven't understood.
So it means that he can still switch from 10 years to 5 years, because literally, I think apart from the English test, he's literally got almost everything because tomato.
That's it.
Okay.
And you're going to be a switch.
But he's been working, I think, 10 years, and that was like 2 years ago. So we all apply. What's it?
This is a good time to switch so that he doesn't waste the 2.5 years.
Yeah, I think I'm on 2023. So yeah, December 2023. So he can switch anytime from now.
Anytime, because so or trying 2.5 years new year. Now or share 5 years last year. In total, we're 7.5 years. It's a waste of time.
Okay. Yes. So Lawyer, if you can drop your number, I'll definitely let him call you. And then he can, I'm sure it's something he wants to do. So met him after, and then you can take it out from there for him.
Thank you. I've just put it in the chat room. I think it's 079. Now, what do I put? I think in the chat room. No, may I'm not
079 079
31
411
042.
And so 079 31 411 042.
Yes, and the office number is 0208
0165
384.
Okay.
Yes,
so I'll definitely let him call you, and then be a my on.
Medasi, thank you.
Medasi,
Yo, abusuafo sabre de mitimi se chat room ho no mo ayemma enti ma membo modern na me fa 1 or 2 questions be enso in from ranyesa and minim say magic beatings pa e wa ha. Also, can a dependent apply for ILR, indefinite leave to remain, before the main applicant?
The branch cannot survive without the stem and the root. So the branch will have to depend on the stem. The stem is the main applicant rooted to the ground by working, and the dependent is the branch. It has to be through the main applicant. Unless otherwise, the dependent moves to another route and they are on their own, that is a different matter. But as long as they are attached to the dependent, the main applicant, it cannot be in isolation.
Okay. We say I have British passport. Do I need e-visa? Lawyer, a simple answer.
No.
Me da say. Yanko ye nimna yensa fafofro. We also say, lawyer, I got married in July 2020 and I got my leave on January 7th, 2021. I want to know I'm due for indefinite leave to remain.
What visa is it? Is it the EU one or it is under the UK rules? We have different routes, different routes, different requirements. If it is under the EU rules and the marriage was January 2020 and the person was in the UK before the marriage took place, then January 2025, they've already crossed 5 years. If you married in 2020 January, you were outside the UK and you entered the UK, the 5 years starts from the date you entered the UK. So that is for EU nationals. If it is under the UK rules, the immigration rules, even if you married in 2020, the 5 years only starts counting from the day you arrived in the UK. So that can help. I'm sure that will help you do the calculation for yourself. Yes, it's either the date of the marriage if you are already here and it's under the EU law, or the date of entry if you were outside. If it's under the UK law and you did from outside, it's the date you arrived in the UK. Thank you.
Me that say, like I am say the air corner the bebono partial. Olivia throw the questions.
Yes.
Yeah, you are next one. Mefa is saying abutre mefa entibia. We ensu busa say, is there any waiver or exemption from writing the English language test, please?
Yes, waivers. There are waivers. If you are under 18 years, won't throw English language test. If you are more than 65 years, won't throw English language test. If you have medical condition and you can get your GP to write, there's a form called KOLL waiver form. KOLL waiver. Take it, print it. Anybody go online. I like to give the information. Go online. Anybody can access KOLL. Go print the form. Give it to your GP. They will complete with your medical condition and say that you can never, ever, ever write and pass because of X, Y, Z. You attach that to the application. They will assess it. If it is acceptable, you will be able to get through without the English and then the life in the UK test. Yes, it's possible.
Now, I mean for Olivia Sabri. Oli Mpacho Yeti Onyumre.
Sister Olivia, what's not what starting from the back of the queue, sir. Sister Olivia, well done.
Thank you. Good evening.
Evening.
And Pacha, whether being so beside, but then I have to be sure. So, be with a Spanish passport or no, so visa no.
The EU nationals, once they have their settlement scheme, and they have they already have its link. It's already on the system, so they already have the app. They already have the app automatically, but on make sure we're linking the passport to the app, and then that is it.
Yeah, Uber, call e-visa side now, passport number, Bibiana.
Yeah.
All they tell you is everything is in order, as in what your status that you have. That's all that they show you.
That picture need be about
yes.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay. International interest or printing share code be nothing of that sort, right?
David, unless or no employer so pretty man and an person the two choir is up to it. But say was called 100 over 100 it's okay. Yes, and the
share code nana.
Advice in the own call line on pretty share code, no, just for
share code. Okay. Okay. And secondly, British citizenship exams in English, say be bahana why college when you're English level 1 and 2 now, functional skills, is that one to consider as the English exams?
There are some exemptions. GCSE is an exemption and a few other ones. So we can go online, just go to nationality, English, guidance and exemptions. You see some lists there. GCSE is one of them, and a few. I mean, with the level of English, it's not too bad, but just research, and then you find you'll be fine. And yes, answer it's not difficult. It's just conversation between you and them. It is a total of 150 pounds. You pay it, and you choose your own topic. Example. They ask you, what do you want to talk about? I want to talk about maybe cooking. All right, what do you like to cook? Maybe jollof rice. What you have to have 5 topics. Okay, the initial stages, the whatever it is, the mixture, the cooking, the dishing. So you choose your 5 topics about preparing jollof rice. They talk to you 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. It's simple.
Okay. All right. Yeah, thank you. Your questions, but I think I should end it here later.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Bless you.
Toro, go ahead and ask your question.
Very good, thank you. Madam Wasipa said, TAPTAP said first, we use our platform, we enlighten public. I mean, sure, we have we join them with any support. Now, my question, it's kind of related to your sister Olivia Ekansisia. Now, the percentage say, Obi or EU citizen or UK or not, okita friends and what do you call it? Pre-settled status. Pre-settled status, no. Not a friend say, for one reason or the other. Well, some maybe because of some medical condition, it was in Europe. What are them now? Also, no, but still no. Okay, the valid pre-settled status now. Oba also onye visa ni biwana.
So Oba back to Kromha, we don't have that problem. Also, normally the problem is from the African countries. Most of these European countries, they understand the system. They know how to do. Once they check and they realize that everything is on the system, they let you pass.
Okay.
So I gave an example, big pre-settled status, or call Europe, Germany, Portugal, France, Spain, not all bad. They don't have any problems until 31st of March. But if you go to Africa, they will frustrate you. As for why, I don't know. So with the EU national or pre-settled status, they can always check it when they get here, the Home Office. So, I mean, even you can even use their passport to tap it and walk through. I don't think there's a problem with that at all.
Okay.
Africa, dear, and the Americans said, Mr. No, on any visa.
Also, on your share code.
On your share code, no Bianco Bulino.
Okay. But I'm not saying, for ground. Bye-bye.
I mean, so insurance. So, I was here for as the lawyer, you may they back into your community. Lawyer, my own time na so na mefa few questions aka ho na mejawa moako. No ti de na me can say as the lawyer, you may they back into the communities. Inti say bia mo wa sorry, mo ye be say 100, 200 echo na jili say ubenya the community no aba beka ho na we inviting ya. We will arrange it and bring this show into your community na mwenya kwan na ebi okra na legal team ebeba no omodoso a so application kra na eso omoboa no mo ye ohoma wa ombehwe no maboa no maye ho no ekra ede ama. And very soon we will launch it na yamamo areas across the UK. Maybe I will be office say ubetimi enya a sizable number of people jumedie ebetimi aboa mo no mo maya sotia me de jumedie no beba within your community to get mwebia muhia from the legal expert ayediomo ebeba. Mame emfa few questions and na yema lawyer intimi and konko jina home kakra. And the questions not do so lawyer. You can see it na ho there. Yenkone. All right. Mame emfa we AY Mbacho, go ahead and ask your question AY.
Okay, wait a minute. So I'm saying, lawyer Mpacho, na me ba student.
Okay.
From school, me post study. But me ne obi a wo na ne marketing kiti wan fa ko na me ko la ne be 1 year. Jesus me post study na IS5. Ena me ne na kasa ma pe obi mo ne na kasa mo IS ntiase ya. Okay, financial aid. Nyamone identity. You see, I know because they are calling so 1 year. Now be I'm finding I come 1 year. And no sir, no one to say.
Pass Obana anti-asia juma. Na sometimes a man will free and a man because say no more we are. No, sometimes almost expected set will be involved in certain ways. Now we are kwani, so now they get upset with us. But finally say then that is a good thing. And to call only in court registrar no na onfa wuding and got to abofane so wuding abofane so I'm just abofane a British citizen over me application. Even though we're sitting on the wuno, you can still switch because your child is a British citizen. You should have no problem at all. Unfortunately, I'm going to go to 10-year route and can still now valid leave and so now then course an our application now over 5-year route. In any case, due to 10-year route, you can always shift back to the 5-year route. So I think it's good progress. Carry on speaking. Go to the registrar with her. Let them put your name on it. Get involved. Support the child. GP or qua, and then include GP. Offer would then go to GP that you are the father of the child and you are the emergency contact because you will need a letter from the GP to confirm that you are the father when you're making this application. Carry on, my brother, and I hope things will work out for you. I wish you all the best. Okay.
Okay. That's it.
Anyway, me sume futu am de be man say J lawyer number na free lawyer actually. There are some of the guidelines anye bibia no betimi aka wa ha na ne nkasa. Why? Or say can someone look lawyer we say can someone look for employment then apply for a visa or apply for a visa to come in then look for employment. Question or ABR out of UK.
Okay. Well, yes. My advice is if you can get the employment, get a certificate, sponsorship certificate, apply to come in, you are better off. And it's the best thing you can do. And to Uber with a Juma, you have no problem at all. And as a Uber with visit visa, why by your contacts indication was say Yabama with Jumano. Wako, Yamo COS, no application that's also another thing. The only thing you can't do is, so as a visitor, Appendix V said you can't work. So you can't switch from visit visa to work visa in the UK. So yes, get the work, get the sponsorship, apply, come here, start working, and you should be fine. Okay?
All right. I'll say two people, no. Lawyer, wait there. Two, please. If okay, me kind said they watch on. Two, then there's PLS, meaning what that word means. If you have health issue, like mental health, and you do work as self-employed, would they consider and give you your indefinite leave to remain?
If you have mental health and you do work.
You work as self-employed.
Yeah, why not? I mean, your medical condition should not prevent them from giving you your leave to be here. It will be discriminatory. So the fact that you have a person has a mental health problem doesn't mean they can't work. You know what somebody said? Is that everybody, we all have mental health issues. It's just a matter of degree. Okay? Everybody has a mental health problem. It is just a matter of degree. Some are very low degree, so you think they are normal. Others are high degree, so we think they are not normal. But everybody has a mental health issue. If the person is working, that should not prevent them working as a self-employed. It should not affect their eligibility for indefinite or for naturalization as a British citizen. If you are talking about writing the exams and passing it, that is a different thing. The Home Office can then say, well, you are working as a self-employed, you're able to keep your accounts, you're able to do this, X, Y, Z. How then aren't you able to write the test, the life in the UK, etc., and pass? That's a different ball game. But putting that on the side, your medical condition should not affect your eligibility for British citizenship.
Like my busa question we are me say abranti we on me enye fine or say why application but onyenya ne verdict but wenye ye ebia ne maame ne papa ewu e na opeso okwa yie no obeyede
Edia na nka oba me ana papa bepe so beko Ghana kwakọ ka na obetina ha na wasane sika na omode ayeye
onya akọ konso
na nso uko na uko kanso
Onti mi nko ka je Home Office.
We application.
Lawyer me about we there. I'm speaking for him. Why application? Omunya ema no answer yet. But ni maame anani papa ewu. Onti mi nko ka je Home Office ni maame ne bakro no. Ono a na eso okoye ye culture no ejire se ese ne only child no ye na ye. Onti mi nko ka je sana omuma ni bibi mfanko.
And nana nebesini one say evidence for her say papa in film and amami film who death certificate no my obituary almost certificate date ni sani no. Bring all those documents and send it to the Home Office to the section where they can expedite your decision based on the humanitarian consideration. I bet me my decision about entem than the normal 12 months now or more kind of. So that is a different thing. Say, oh, evidence now, send it to the Home Office, make a note or write a letter and say, look, my father is passed, my mother is passed, I am the only child, the bond we have, I can't stay here for them to bury my father. These are the evidence that this is what is going to happen. I will plead with you to please expedite this decision for me. They have done it to some of our clients, and they've got early decision in cases where that is the case. But so decision now passport now that is where the problem is. So please get them to expedite the decision. You need different. You pre-settled status and we indefinite leave application. As long as you still have a valid pre-settled status and you can generate your share code, you can go and come, because you found passport, they don't hold your passport with them. They take it, look at it, and return it to you. With that, you can still go and come if you still have a valid pre-settled status. Ebia, pre-settled in 2026. Meanwhile, application for indefinite because you were qualified in 2025. Whilst it is there, you can still go and come without any problem. Nana, I think I got to run.
Mamemfa onipa baako pɛ na said dear kwedi lawyer I say returning to our Friday show said the beya ebetimi we not this Friday but next week.
Okay.
We'll talk tomorrow. iPhone only me last we are mefile iPhone but go ahead and ask your question.
iPhone Papa Isaac Amankwa. Please remember next week, come ask your questions. Andy Boateng, Auntie Maggie, Prissy, Muhammad, and everybody else. Please, next week, be the first to come now beside. Ask your questions. I'm more than happy to respond. Thank you so much for understanding. iPhone, please.
iPhone. Hello, good evening, lawyer.
Good evening, my brother. How are you?
I'm doing well, sir.
Praise God.
I had a 5-year COS. That was last year, and I spent 1 year, but I had another COS, and I was given another 5 years. But the previous one was supposed to expire 2029 March. But the most recent one, I've just received it last week, and it's supposed to expire 2030, that means I'm going for 6 years. That doesn't mean I have to apply the indefinite leave to stay in 2029, or I have to wait for 2030 to apply.
So when you go to, or if you go to Appendix S, Appendix Skilled Worker, SW21.1, and it says the applicant must spend a continuous period of 5 years in the UK. Then SW21.2 says the 5 years continuous period must consist of time with permission on any of or combination of the following: skilled worker, or global talent, innovation, etc., etc., etc. If you've already done some time on a skilled worker route, it can form part of your 5 years. So maybe you've done 2 years, you can do 3 years to add to it, 5 years indefinitely. If you've done 4 years, you do 1 year on top, 5 years, you go for indefinitely. So that is how it works.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Ahanomo and everybody who kwan yade jumadi ni besi. Abusuafo nyame adoma
Friday. Isaac, our apologies, yes. Next week, Andy, Maggie, Prissy, Muhammad, please, next week we'll take your questions. Thank you so much. Nana Kosuame.
Yeah, abusuafo lawyer mpacho sign file contact details to chat room one mo Emma Amanfo. Name me share mo boss next week Friday, 8 to 9 UK time. Central Europe time no ebeye 9 to 10, by UK time 8 to 9 GMT. May the lawyer beba na wabe answer all the questions that you've got, and to me say what so na join.
Yes, I some be permission from me pastor. I say pastor mama kwani Friday there na, but yebekasa
but na yebekasa how you go about it. Yebekasa how you go about it. But I'll make sure say next week we will answer all questions with regards to immigration issues or UK Hanamo. And I know me call Spain and mene Ghana Union for Hanamo and so Ekasaye Yana and go focus I say UK US Enkwa Asem and Ayeka ye bomodian say yebenya omonsoa ebano immigration issues in Spain, Germany. Germany crowd them say bright my man boss obepu biamame na Italy so ya pe enkofo omonso bit me aboy for us to understand omonso on immigration system no na yet me educate our community on those areas as well. Right, and in Tiabusia for mefa lawyer ne last words na fe ora A class eba be sum na ode TAPTAP focus section no e de atwaso e de amount. If you have any question regarding TAPTAP, hold on, A class will take over very soon. Lawyer, your last words.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. Now, besides, follow up to my question on the individual whose partner has reported him to the UK via, can he remarry? Is he advisable? Of course, if he finds genuine love, he can always remarry. Nobody can tell anybody not to marry. Article 12 of the Human Rights Act is your human right. If you want to marry, you can marry. It has to be genuine. And once it is, Nobody can stop you. You can marry. Nana, thank you. I'm grateful for the opportunity. And Nyame Aduma next week, Ebeshia, Wise Smart Solicitors, from Wisdom. Office details no screen so Wise Smart Solicitors 8 to 9 The Print House 18 to 22 Ashwin Street, Dalston, London, E8 3DL. Telephone number, office one is 0208 0165 384 0208 0165 384. Mobile number is 07931 411-042 07931-411-042. Preferably, if you can get me on the office line during the office hours, that would be very helpful. Thank you. I'm grateful. Yami Aduma Dasene. Thank you. I'm grateful.
Yo lawyer, yenso ye beda say na nwumre yi say otimi abeka ho na ye di dwumadi abre ye ahwefo ene atiefo, especially the TAPTAP family. Nyame enhira monso a munya akwan na mo join ye ene nwumre e wo dwumadi so. Me dane me ho me ba ora A class ebesom na wo the TAPTAP sem focus section no e de atwaso e de aman. Maybe ye breaker room 1 honomo enso na ye support team no ebe wo honomo. If you have any challenge, any issue with your TAPTAP Send account, please go to the breaker room 1 and busia for honoma amonso ebeboa. Mesrewa menko medane me ho aba.
TAPTAP Send. Oh, I was my baby, you're from Calabos. The only boss. With oneness. Baby, will be everywhere I day and everywhere they go. TAPTAP Send got me covered. If you need to send money or transfer money from Europe, from Canada, from USA, from UK, any part in Europe, you can send it through TAPTAP Send. And guess what? Oceania, they will receive it right here in Ghana and many countries across Africa. So what are you waiting for? Download TAPTAP Send now on Google Play Store or App Store. When you download, it's so easy to use. Tell your families, tell your loved ones to download TAPTAP Send. Okay? But also, when I receive my money, the other time I would be chilling, like my view, hey, you crazy.
Download TAPTAP Send now on Google Play and App Store. TAPTAP Send, it's secure, convenient, easy, and fast.